How do you feel when you hear girls say things like, all men are disgusting, or all men are trash? Probably, like me, you felt defensive or even angry. It feels unfair, like you're being blamed for something you didn't do, especially when you're out here actually trying to be a decent guy. And the first instinct a lot of us have is to say, well, not all men are like that. Because, well, yeah, not all men are like that. But whilst that's true, most of the time, as I'm sure you found like I did the hard way, saying it doesn't actually help. Let me explain why. First things first, not all men behave badly. That should be obvious, but sometimes it seems like it's not, especially with how often we're lumped in together. And if you're someone who genuinely cares, who treats women with respect, it can feel like you're being unfairly grouped in with the worst of the worst. It's frustrating. Frankly, it's even a little insulting. Hearing all men makes it seem like our individual actions don't matter. Like no matter how kind or thoughtful or safe we are, we're just going to be viewed as part of the problem because we're a guy. Kind of seems a little sexist. And it's natural to want to defend yourself in those moments. I've wanted to say, hey, I'm not like that. Not all men do that. But hold that thought, because this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. You might have heard that man or bear thing online. The idea that some women would rather run into a bear in the woods than a man. That's a pretty shocking thing to say. I remember the first time I heard it, it felt like a gross exaggeration. Like seriously, a bear instead of a man. But the more I listened, the more I understood what it was really about. It's not that women think men are literally bears or as dangerous. It's that, for a lot of them, bad experiences with men are so common they feel like they have to always be on guard. They've been followed, harassed, groped, manipulated. All of these things build up. Here's the thing. A bear is dangerous, but it's predictable. You know where you stand with it. With some men, it's harder. Women don't always know who's safe and who isn't. That uncertainty is exhausting, especially because unlike bears, we can pretend to be nice. So it makes sense why some women would feel more at ease around something wild and obviously dangerous than with someone human and unpredictable. Now, I know what you might be thinking, because I had the same thought. I'm not a bear, so why am I being compared to something dangerous? And honestly, I think you're right to feel weird about that. I do. One of the common responses to not all men that I hear from women is, well, not all sharks attack people, but you still wouldn't jump into a swimming pool with them. I personally find that comparison pretty insulting. I'm not a shark. I'm not some mindless predator that people should avoid by default. Sharks act on instinct. I have a choice. I have empathy, self-awareness, a moral compass. I can choose to be respectful and kind. So yeah, I'm not a shark, and I think it's okay to feel frustrated by that analogy if you do too. You're a person, and when people treat you like a threat just because of your gender, sort of feels hypocritical. Like, I thought we weren't meant to just group people together. But here's the flip side. Even though it's true that saying not all men are dangerous, saying not all men in the middle of these conversations doesn't actually help. Why? Because it shifts the focus away from what the other person is trying to express and makes you the center of attention. Imagine this. Someone says, I'm scared of dogs because I got bitten. And your first response is, whoa, not all dogs bite. That might be true, but it doesn't help. It doesn't show them empathy. It kind of sounds like you're ignoring their pain. When women say things like men are dangerous, or I feel scared walking at home at night because of men, they're not accusing every man of being a predator. They're describing patterns they've experienced, real things that have made them feel unsafe, threatened, and hurt. And when the response back is not all men, it can kind of feel like you're dismissing this. Like we're more interested in protecting our own image than understanding what they've been through. Our goal here shouldn't be to defend every man. It should be to make the world safer for everyone. And that starts with listening, not defending. Let me give you another way to think about it. And bear with me on this one. There are no doors on the internet. Someone makes a post or a video venting about an experience they've had with a man. They're probably thinking that it's going to reach other women. They're sharing something painful that others will be able to relate to. But then a guy comes in and says, well, not all men are like that. It's kind of like walking into a women's bathroom and saying, hey, not all guys are like that. It's not the time or the place. And even though your intention is good, it makes you the center of the conversation. And it's not about us. It's about them. It's about their experience. So instead of defending yourself, try listening. Ask yourself, what are they actually trying to say? Are they talking about a pattern that needs to be acknowledged? Are they just trying to feel heard? And if they are, how can you demonstrate that you're not like other men by listening and showing empathy? You don't have to agree with every word, but you can say something simple like, I'm really sorry that happened to you. Or if it's new news to you and it's genuinely quite alarming, just thank them for sharing it. Even if you're not a part of the problem, you can still be a part of the solution. We can help create spaces where women feel safe. We can speak up when someone's being creepy or cruel. Check in on your friends. Believe the women who are telling you this. This is the opportunity to demonstrate how we're not like other men. This stuff matters. Because here's the bigger picture. Saying not all men might feel like you're protecting yourself from blame. But this isn't really about blame. It's about awareness. It's about patterns. It's about the systems we're all a part of, whether we like it or not. And yeah, it's easy to feel angry. I still do when I hear those blanket statements. It's easy to feel like people are just calling us the bad guy for existing. But don't get stuck there. Being compared to a bear or a shark sucks. But this conversation isn't about proving we're not like that. It's about helping make sure fewer people have those bad experiences in the first place. So if you care about being a good man, this is the kind of thing that gets us there. At the end of the day, not all men are dangerous. That's true. But every man, including me, including you, has the opportunity to make the world safer and better for others. So next time you feel the urge to say not all men, stop for a second and ask yourself this instead. What can I do to make the people around me feel safer? Okay, I appreciate you sticking around to the end and wanting to learn, and I'm genuinely curious about your experience of this. How do you feel when you hear all men? How did you feel when you came across the bear or man thing? I'm genuinely curious to know what you think in the comments below. And if you're ready to have real conversations about what it means to be a man today, hit subscribe. Let's figure this out together.